Welcome into the In the Money podcast, first one for 2020. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development. Saturday, January 4th card at Gulfstream is what we're going to take a look at. Their Lake Pick 4, which includes 3 ungraded stakes races. We'll start with the 8th race, the Glitter Woman, one of back-to-back races for 3-year-old fillies. This one's on the dirt at 6.5 furlongs. And who do you like?
Yeah, a bunch of brand new 3-year-olds. They're just 2 days away from being 2-year-olds. So a lot of inexperienced horses here getting their first taste as a 3-year-old. I like Spanish Point in here. Jorge Abreu has 2 horses in here, the 6 and the 2. Leaning to the 6 simply because she's run twice. She broke her maiden at 50,000 and broke it by 5 1/4. So they thought they had something good with her. Came back and ran 6 furlongs at Gulfstream on November 30th and won by 1 3/4. Beat Sound Machine, another horse that's in this race. So I'm going to take Spanish Point here, but I'm also going to throw in the horses have only run one race. Obviously, can take a big step up. So Tale of Success, the 1 for Delgado, and like I said, Lady Anna, the 2 for Abreu. Also going to use Sayonara Baby. Ramon Minguet, who I don't even know as a trainer, but this horse jumped up last time and ran a 76 buyer off a 34 previous buyer, won by 10 1/4 at Gulfstream West, and they get good in a hurry as a 2-year-old going to 3. And what attracted me on her was Luis Saez takes the mount, a big move up from Meneses. So I'm going to put her in the pick 4, and I'm also going to use Sound Machine, who ran second to my pick in the house party a couple weeks ago. So Spanish Point's my pick in the 8th race at Gulfstream.
I ended up on that 7-horse, Sayonara Baby, for 2 reasons. That big buyer jump, and the other thing was Saez taking them out after that happened. And I think maybe get a little price on this horse, and that's what kind of seduced me into heading in that direction. But the other ones I'm using are the ones you mentioned. I had Sound Machine second. Horse has been heavily bet in all 3 of its starts, and then the 2 fillies at impressive wins, coming off impressive wins, Spanish Point and Lady Anna. So I'm going to use all 4 of those in the pick 4, but I'm going to try Sayonara Baby that maybe light bulb just went on for her in that last race at Gulfstream Park West, the old Calder. 9th race, the Ginger Brew. This is 3-year-old fillies going 7.5 furlongs on the turf. If you don't play Gulfstream regularly, that's 2 turns there. I ended up with Abscond here. This horse is a Grade 1 winner up at Woodbine for Eddie Keneally, and Irad Ortiz has been riding her, and he stays. But I also am going to use Bredenberry when we get to the pick 4 for Graham Motion. Just 1 start for Motion in this country. Nothing special, but been off since then, back in, I think, November. So a horse like that could certainly improve, having been in Graham Motion's barn now for a while. There were a few others that I thought were worth a look if you want to go deeper. The 6 Sunset Promise, the 1 Cheermeister, and then on the outside, bad post position, but she's my type, the 12. The horse that ran second in that race last time, Osaka Girl, came back to post a nice win. I think it was on New Year's Day. So that's worth a look from a bad post. But Abscond, I like a good bit in the Ginger Brew. How about you?
Yeah, I think when you have a Grade 1 winner coming back to make her 3-year-old debut in a $100,000 unlisted stakes, I think you've got to take her. She's just got more back class than any horse in here, and she only got beat 4.5 lengths in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf. So the race at Woodbine on a yielding turf course, she probably won't get yielding at Gulfstream this weekend, but I think she's a standout in here. The horse that I liked for second in here was Hear My Prayer, the 9, a horse that you didn't mention, but ran 5 furlongs at Gulfstream West. Paco Lopez takes her back, and he's a great up front runner. And I think the only chance anybody has here over Abscond is they get an easy lead. And if they take Abscond back to try to get her to rate, Hear My Prayer might get an easy lead here, and I would give her an outside shot here. But when we come to the pick 4, I'm going to stand with Abscond and go deep in the other races.
10th race is the Mucho Macho Man. 3-year-olds here going a flat mile. This is the boys. And tell me how you see this one.
I didn't have a strong opinion here. I thought it was a little more wide open. Chance at the 2-horse for Gaffleon and Joseph. Joseph is a very strong trainer at Gulfstream with 26% for the year 2019 and already 18% this meet. but I couldn't make a stand here. I think Le Peroux's horse, South Bend, the one horse for Stanley Huff, coming out of the Churchill Downs Kentucky Jockey Gold Club, went off at 2-1 there, and may have not liked the sloppy track because his race prior to that was much better in the street sense at Churchill. If you run back to that race, at 81 Buyer in a listed stakes there, I think he's going to be tough to beat. As Seen on TV for Kelly Breen, comes out of the juvenile sprint at Gulfstream West with a win, and Paco Lopez takes that horse back, and Sole Volante for Patrick Biancone. Biancone sneaks up with horse every once in a while, and this horse is 2 for 2 and comes off a win at a mile, so I'm going to use that horse as well, but Chance It would be my pick in the Mucho Macho Man.
Yeah, I'm on the same 4 horses. I took South Bend for the win. Not only the sloppy track could have been an issue last time, that was also the first time around 2 turns. So he goes back to 1 turn here, and I think that might be helpful. And this horse has beaten some good ones. Horse in the listed stake you mentioned at Churchill that was 3rd, Silver Prospector, came back and won the Jockey Club. And then 2 races back, that was a nice field at Keeneland that he beat. So going South Bend here. Solo Volante I did like as well. Biancone's really good on the turf to dirt angle. I think it's like 36% I saw. As Seen on TV is the other one I used when we get to the pick 4. But if I went one more, it would be Chance It. But South Bend's a win pick for me. So now let's go to the pick 4 because the 11th race is an allowance optional claimer at a mile on the turf. And what's your pick 4 ticket look like?
Okay, I went 5 deep in the first leg in the 8th race with 1 Tale of Success, 2 Lady Anna, 6 Spanish Point, 7 horse Sayonara Baby, and 8 Sound Machine, so 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Singling the 4 Abscond in the second leg. Going 3 deep in the Mucho Macho Man with 1, 2, 4, 6 South Bend, Chance It, As Seen on TV, and Sole Volante. And then I'm going 5 deep in the optional claimer. Don't have a strong opinion there at all. Limonist, the 7 horse for Todd Pletcher, and Bill Mott's Krampus, the 4, are going to be the co-favorites. I'm also going to use Mustaqim for Karen McLaughlin, a horse that was highly thought of last year and just hasn't turned out as well since he came over here, but always have a shot with Le Peroux on the turf at Gulfstream. I'm going to use Ice Tea for Paco Lopez, a horse that's 6-1, probably a better price. If you go back, this horse has not run on the turf, but has some breeding out of Indian Charlie Sire and maybe likes the turf and got a lot of speed. And Prince of Arabia for Biancone. Again, I'm going to throw Biancone in there because he sneaks one in there once in a while. That's a 12-1 shot. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 4, 6, 7 in the last. So my pick 4 is 1, 2, 6, 7, 8 with 4, with 1, 2, 4, 6, with 1, 2, 4, 6, 7 for $50.
We're in a lot of the same horses in all the races. I didn't use the Biancone in the last race, but really it's just a matter of kind of ticket structure. I ended up with a $48 ticket, 4 in the 8th race, the 2, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to use Abscond and Bredenberry, 4 and 11 in the 9th race, 1, 4, 6 in the 10th, and then 1, 2, 4, 7 in the last race. The ones you mentioned, save for the Biancone horse. So 4 by 2 by 3 by 4, $48 for me on my pick 4. Best of luck with your wagers, getting 2020 off to a good start, and we'll be back next week for another edition of the In the Money podcast at KeenelandSelect.com.